Hello and welcome back. Thank you, as always, for joining me today. We're going to talk for a few minutes today about why tranquility and peace and quiet are so important. This applies to the entire spiritual path, not just A Course in Miracles. This series of videos is about A Course in Miracles, which applies to, well, all spirituality. It's universal. It's a self-study curriculum, not a religion, not a cult, happily, thankfully. The world doesn't need yet another one of those at all. It's rather a self-study curriculum. It's universal in theme and in application. This is very important. It means that you can take the ideas that we talk about here in A Course in Miracles and apply them, do them, apply them in your daily life, no matter what your religious or spiritual background may be. It makes no difference where you came from. It makes no difference what you're interested in, if anything, right now. And it's got to be something because you're watching this. So, regardless of background, regardless of your station in life, where you live, your height, weight, gender, your age, the type of home you live in, none of that matters at all. Welcome, everyone. Let's talk about this sense of tranquility and quiet. Why is it so important? A Course in Miracles is far from the only spiritual tradition to place heavy emphasis on tranquility. Hardly a surprise. We all want peace, the peace of God. We all want the same thing. We may say we want different things in life, but deep down, we all want the same thing: peace, the peace of God. This looks like peace of mind here. And, well, it's no shocker at all that many spiritual traditions talk about this. So, why is it so important here? In the text of A Course in Miracles, we're on chapter 24, section 5, which is entitled The Christ in You. The Christ in You. The Christ in you is very still. The Christ in you is quiet, calm, chilled out, really chill, and certain, very still. So you might be wondering, who cares? That's not a bad question at all, actually. People often ask this anytime they're looking at a video or reading something. People frequently ask, okay, what's in it for me? Why should I care? Why should I pay attention to this? Well, you know why. It's because we're all here. This applies to all of us. We all appear to be here on the spiritual path, directed to this very conversation right now because we need it. We have not been still. Maybe understatement of the year. Yeah. We've been stressed, judgmental. We have thought that we're separate from our brother. And we have looked out with the physical body's eyes, and the eyes report back to us what we wish to see, separation. What if you didn't wish to see separation anymore? Asking for a friend. I mean, really, what if you didn't wish to see that any longer? Mm. So, why is it so important that we be still? That's when we hear the voice of the Holy Spirit, of Jesus, of our inner teacher. That's when we hear it. That's when we receive what may look at the moment like instruction or a mandate or a suggestion or a thought that resonates. But think about it. When we're running amok and we're completely stressed out by life, when we're doing all of our mental battle and suffering under the immense weight of mental strain and a mental load that we keep adding to, why? When we're burdened, overtaxed, overworked, overwhelmed, it's not the best time to even be able to hear the Holy Spirit's voice. When you're frantic or when you're chill, when are you most likely to be able to hear the voice for God at all? Exactly. So, what do? We cultivate this chill in our mind. That's why meditation practice is a thing across multiple different forms of spirituality. This course is simply one example of that. Nothing special about it. And this is common. Meditation, mindfulness practices, yoga practices, all kinds of things designed to calm our mind. Why is this important? This is when we hear the voice for God. This is when we hear best. Not when we're frantic. That makes sense. So we're all invited to live our lives accordingly. That we may find real challenging. So, what's the Christ in you that we're talking about? The Christ. Well, the term Christ is derived from the Greek Christos, meaning anointed one, and it is used here in common parlance in the world to refer to Jesus, to the historical Jesus as Jesus Christ, right? And it's often used to refer exclusively to Jesus. It is not an exclusive term. There's an entire section here in A Course in Miracles in the Manual for Teachers about the Christ. The Christ is the Son of God. You're the Son of God. You're the creation of God, the extension of God, the thought of God. Like extends like. We all are the singular Son of God. All of us, without exception. That is the Christ. You are the Christ. You are very still. There is a, if you want to think of it as a center of quiet and peace and tranquility in which you will be able to hear the voice for God, i.e., the Holy Spirit, your inner teacher, call it whatever you want to call it. Call it your guides if you want to pluralize it. Doesn't make any difference. What's a name? It's nothing. It's a symbol. It stands for something. It's not the thing itself. Call it whatever you want to call it. It makes absolutely no difference at all. We hear the voice for God in tranquility and in quiet. And if all you feel like you can muster is a fraction of a second, that is enough. It's more than enough, in fact. We're told throughout, and this makes sense too, that the Holy Spirit responds to our slightest invitation. So if you're having a hectic day or a hectic year, decade, lifetime, and all that you feel that you can muster or manage is a fraction of a second, that's enough. The Holy Spirit responds to our slightest invitation. And being whole and complete, he responds completely, totally. I don't know. Think about it. The Christ in us is very still. We are the Christ. It's not exclusively Jesus. It's not exclusive. It's not an exclusive club. This course shows us, tells us throughout that there, in fact, is no exclusive club. There's no swanky soiree at a nightclub with bouncers at the door and St. Peter with a big long list, which we may not be on, for things that we may have done. There's no club. There are no walls. There's no nightclub set apart from the rest of life. There are no barriers. There are no walls, no concrete slabs with sheetrock put up and some fancy paint on the inside and a really cool bar on the inside. There's no list of haves and have-nots. There is no separation of any kind. So if you have ever thought that when the world insists that there is, that it's wrong, yes, that is a mistake. It is the only mistake. Separation. This thought that we're separate from God. You know you're not. You do know that. Doesn't mean you have to acknowledge it. You can deny it all you want. Deny it the rest of this lifetime. No one will stop you. But you could stop yourself. Yes. How about that? As we listen to these messages, or any message actually from any spiritual teacher, anything you see on YouTube, this is one of many channels, obviously, anything. When you read something, when you hear something, anything, it may not, well, it may not rub you the right way. I mean, these messages can come across any number of different ways. They can serve as a beautiful confirmation of everything and something that you've always known. And yes, you have always known it. You know who, what, and where you are. Come on now. I know you know. Doesn't mean that you have to jump for joy upon hearing any of this. In fact, stern resistance is one of the possibilities. I mean, often people read A Course in Miracles, they hear about A Course in Miracles, they watch a video such as this, and they're overjoyed, as in confirmation of something they've always known and they've always felt, but never heard articulated in exactly the same way. Yeah, that's a possible reaction. So too is a reaction of, I'm turning this off immediately. That's a possibility. We're all free to do whatever we want to do with this. And it's part of the path to experience resistance. Resistance is going to come up. All resistance is of the ego. The ego is a mistake. It is this false sense of individual, separate self, individual, separate being, cut off from other beings, doing this thing called competition, fighting for this elusive, made up thing called power here in the world, prestige, wealth, getting stuff. Our brother's going to get our stuff before we do, so we better get to him first. And that kind of prevailing attitude that we're all sick of. And we know there's more to our experience than that, or we would not be interested in spirituality at all. And certainly it appears that plenty of people in this world are not. So be it. You are. That's what matters. That's what matters is the change that you bring about in mind, our mind, one mind. Change your mind. Change your mind. Each and every one of us is free to, well, deny this all we want, including the rest of this lifetime. If that's what you wish to do, so be it. Go forth. No one will stop you but yourself. This is not in charge of you. Ah, thank God. Really, happily. Remember, A Course in Miracles is a self-study curriculum. We undertake this curriculum under the guidance of our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit. Call it whatever you want to call it. We appeal to our inner teacher for guidance. Guess what? Our inner teacher is very quiet, very still, calm, and certain. When we appeal to it, we're appealing to part of our mind. The Holy Spirit is part of you. It is not outside you. You are not giving away your power by appealing to our inner teacher for support, for direction and guidance. Rather, you're accessing it. When you attempt to do battle with someone else, believing you're separate, they're separate, you're actually giving your power away. The world teaches us otherwise. This course aims to turn our perception right side up. It is manifestly upside down, which we all recognize. It's why we're on the spiritual path in the first place. Now, it could very well be that you may not have heard it described this way. Could very well be. The ideas in A Course in Miracles are repeated over and over again, same with all spiritual traditions, because as adult learners, we need it. Quite frankly, we've been so conditioned to think that this is who we are. Really, we've been conditioned to think that we're an individual human being and we better get our share of the limited pie before our brother gets it. He's coming to take your professional reputation, your stuff. We think this way, and it produces strain, stress, and discomfort. Why? It's not natural. Allow your inner teacher, our inner teacher, to show you what's natural. We cannot hear the voice of the Holy Spirit in the midst of our chaos. This is why tranquility is emphasized. This is why, if, in case you've ever wondered, it's why meditation's a thing in spirituality. Because we get distracted by life. Pick up your social media feed. You'll be instantly distracted and likely disturbed by someone's post, their speech that you may disagree with. The possibility is certainly there. We all get carried away by thoughts of tomorrow's business meeting. What's next week going to look like? Wait, forgot to pay that bill last night. Uh-oh. I wonder if I'm going to get charged a late fee. And oh, I'm remembering the picnic that I had when I was 9 in the mountains with my dad. Okay. Our mind jumps and jumps and jumps and jumps around. One wild, weird, random thought after another. And when we get carried away by these random thoughts, in a formal meditation practice, we're instructed to bring our awareness back to the object of meditation. Could be the breath, could be a mantra. If you're listening to a guided meditation, it could be to the voice of the guide, could be music, something you're visualizing, whatever it is, bring your awareness back to the object of meditation. Okay, writ large in life, which is also a meditation, you could choose to see it this way. When you notice yourself carried away and judging, bring your awareness back to forgiveness of the Son of God. Bring your awareness back to your connection, your relationship with our inner teacher. Reset, recalibrate, and go forth extending love. Each and every time you notice yourself judging, unhappy, they go hand in hand, carried away, bring your awareness back. Life is, in fact, a living, breathing, waking meditation. You could choose to see it that way. And in case you've ever been wondering why all of these meditation mindfulness practices are a thing, that's why. The Christ in you, who you are, is very still. Love is in you now. It is you. It is you. We're invited here in A Course in Miracles to teach only love, for that is what you are. Give only love, for that is what you are. How do you go forth in the world? Love. Give it. How? You'll be instructed in each and every situation by our inner teacher. That's how. This relationship is central to the practice of this course. And, well, you might be wondering, again, what's in it for me? Awakening, which we all want. The peace of God, that's in it for you. However, first, we must all walk the path, so to speak. We must clarify our upside down perception 100% totally, fully, and completely, meaning forgiveness is total or it's not at all. So we work on those hard to forgive little bits. Doesn't mean you agree with someone's behavior. Doesn't mean you agree with a government's behavior. Certainly, you don't have to if you don't. However, you overlook all of the surface level drama when you truly forgive and you recognize your brother, i.e., yourself, for what he really is, for what you really are. And I do know that you know exactly what that is. It is clear. It doesn't mean we have to jump for joy upon contemplating it. And based on our conditioning, we may not at all, which is absolutely fine. It's very powerful. You're more powerful than you can possibly imagine. So you're invited to access this today. Please, asking for a friend, i.e., you, yourself, all of us. Nobody ever said this was dull. You deserve nothing less than what this course says and what it means. Not some interpretation, some watered down interpretation of what it means, what it really means. You are the Christ. The Christ in you is very still, quiet, love itself. Give only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. This course points to truth. Welcome. You're here, which tells me everything I personally need to know about how far you've come. You're almost there. Keep going. Thank you. All right. Well, here's something that's kind of funny. I never know what's going to appear to come out of the mouth of this pixelated image on your screen. But I'll tell you what, though, when something lands for you, when this something, whatever it is, I mean, and we've been talking for 20 plus minutes, probably. I don't know. I don't know what time it is. There's a little clock up here in the corner of the screen, but my 53-year-old eyes can certainly not see it. It's a little blurry. Can you relate to that? Yeah, right. Maybe you can. I don't know what's going to be said that's going to resonate with you. But when it does, you know it does, because we all recognize that. That's the Holy Spirit speaking to you. You may certainly 100% count on that. And over the course of 20 plus minutes, there are likely to be a handful of messages. You're here for a reason. You're still watching for a reason. So, by the way, if you have not yet subscribed, please do that. We'd love to have you join us. That's the prompt over here. Click that icon and you'll be invited to join us. Thank you to those of you who recently have. And we repeat all of these ideas over and over again because you just don't know when something is going to land. I mean, we don't. We have absolutely no idea. Today may be the day that you hear something for the 1000th time, the same words, the same thing over and over again. But all of a sudden today, boom, you get it. Yes. Does that not make it worth it to have heard it 999 times prior? No, we don't know when that's going to happen, hence the repetition. So, there are many videos that appear here each week. That's the subscription button. Please feel welcome to ask questions. You deserve nothing less than the real deal here. So that's what the Holy Spirit's giving you, the course and what it means. Questions are inevitable. And of course, that's the case in all of spirituality, isn't it? Because it's deep self inquiry. So to the extent that you have a question, please feel welcome to leave it here. It can be about spirituality in general. Remember, this course is completely universal in theme and application. It can be related to A Course in Miracles specifically, and it makes no difference how beginner-ish you may think the question is. Those are often the best. They really are. They're often the best questions because there are people watching that are longtime course students, and we just talked about hearing something the 1000th time. What may appear to you to be very basic may be the catalyst on a given day where someone who's a longtime student of this course gets it. You may get it too, the same day. Who knows, right? We don't know exactly when these supposed, well, flashes are going to come, these aha moments, or whatever we want to call them. They occur on the path, often when we least expect them. And who knows? I mean, that could be today. So your question could have a real, profound, positive impact on somebody whom you're not likely ever to meet in person. That is one of the beauties of using this medium, this 21st century technology. Yes, it can be and is used to disseminate misinformation, hatred, cursing, blame, horror, and fear. The same medium can also be used to share the message of the Holy Spirit, to share love and perfect oneness and forgiveness, and to bless, something that can be used to attack, can be used to love and to bless, i.e., YouTube. All right. So, however it occurs to you to go forth and extend love today, ask the Holy Spirit. He will show you. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you again soon.